Starting at number 34, the division problems on the Unit 4 test review. You need to do this both ways, synthetic and long division. I'm going to do long division first. So, we cover up the 2. You have an m, you need to make it m squared. M times m gives you m squared. M times m. Then you look and you say m times m, m squared. M times 2, 2m. Now, here comes the part that a lot of people mess up on. Subtraction. Write that sign in there. Subtract them both. M squared minus m squared. Those are gone. Negative 3 minus 2m, negative 5m minus 7. This just dropped down. Then you start over. Cover this up. You have m, you need negative 5m. So you need a negative 5. Negative 5 times m, negative 5 times 2. So that's a negative 10. Subtract, subtract. Well, 2 negatives make a positive in both of those cases. Draw my line. M's are canceled because you have a negative 5 and a positive 5. Negative 7 plus 10 is a 3. 3 is your remainder. I have an m, I can't make it a 3. So I'm going to put plus, 3's on top, m plus 2 on the bottom. Synthetics, much faster. We need to write down the coefficients. So I went 1, negative 3, negative 7. Watch your negative signs. Now, over here, I have m plus 2 equals 0, so m is a negative 2. So I'm going to put a negative 2 in the box. Draw my line. First term always just drops down. You're adding it to nothing, so it's a 1. Then you multiply. 1 times negative 2, negative 2. That's a negative 5. Negative 2 times negative 5 is a positive 10. 3 left over. Now, you have to put your m's back in. And don't just cheat and look at your long division. You have to go back to the beginning. I had m to the second. I divided, so now I just have an m. M minus 5 plus 3 is your remainder. And that's your final answer once you put the m's back in it. $35. So many people ask me if you should rearrange it and put it in the right order. Yes. Yes. I don't know how you're going to do this problem successfully if it's not in the correct order. So take the time to write 2x to the third plus 7x squared plus 6x plus 9. It will help you. Let's go ahead and do synthetic first this time. 2, 7, 6, 9, and a negative 3. Showed you on the last problem how we got that x term here. Okay, so you can look at the last problem number 34 if you don't know how I got negative 3. 2 drops down. 2 times negative 3 is a negative 6. 7 minus 6 is 1. Negative 3 times 1, negative 3. 6 minus 3 is a 3. 3 times negative 3, negative 9, negative 0 at the end. That just means there's no remainder. And then you look. I started with x to the third. So this is 2x squared. I've taken away an x. Plus x plus 3, and there's no remainder, so you don't have a fraction at the end. There's no remainder, so you don't have a fraction at the end. Long division. Here we go. Notice, has to be in order. Cover up the 3. You have an x, you need 2x to the third. So 2x squared goes on top. Multiply here, we get 2x to the third. Under my finger is a 3, so that's a 6x squared. You have to multiply, multiply. Then you come in, you need to subtract. Subtract, subtract. X to the thirds are gone. You have a 1x squared plus 6x plus 9. You have x, you need x squared. You need just an x. X times x, x squared. X times 3, 3x. Subtract, subtract. This one's a little bit easier just because there's not as many negatives. Just take your time and stay organized. Cover the 3 up again. You have a 3x at the bottom here. You started with an x. How do you get x to become 3x? You multiply by 3. 3 times x, 3x. 3 times 3, 9. They cancel because I subtract and I get a 0 at the end. Notice my answers are exactly the same thing. $36. Oops, divided by sign. I missed that, sorry. Okay, let's do long division first. I'll try and keep rotating. I have x, I need 3x to the fourth, so I need 3x to the third. Multiply, and then multiply by the 1 that's hiding here, and that's 3x to the third. Subtract, subtract. Now, here's what might get some people in trouble. These cannot combine. You have an x squared and an x to the third. So you need to just rewrite everything because there's nothing that's a like term that can combine besides the x to the fourth. You have x, you need negative 3x to the third. So you need negative 3x squared. Multiply. Multiply by a 1. And there we are. You need to subtract. 2 negatives make a positive. X to the thirds are gone. This is negative 2x squared plus x minus 3. That's not an 8 there. It's minus negative 3. So it's negative 5 plus 3. Careful. Minus 2x at the top. Because I have an x, I need to get negative 2x squared. Should start seeing this pattern. Negative 2x squared. Multiply it by 1. We get a negative 2x. Subtract, subtract. 3x minus 3. Then you look up here. You say I need a 3. 3x and a 3. You're subtracting, subtracting. Negative 6, that is not a 0. Negative 3 minus 3, negative 6. Come up here for your remainder. Negative 6 is on top, x plus 1 on the bottom. Now let's do synthetic. It's the same problem, just going to do synthetic. Negative 1 over here. It's x plus 1 equals 0, so x is negative 1. Now, 3 is with your x to the fourth. You are missing an x to the third. You have to put a 0 there. Then negative 5, then a 1, then a negative 3. X to the fourth, x to the third, x squared, x, your constant. Drop the 3 down. 3 times negative 1. Negative 3. Negative 3 and 0, negative 3. Negative 3 and a negative 1, positive 3. Negative 5 plus 3, negative 2. Negative 2 times negative 1, positive 2. 1 plus 2 is 3. Negative 1 times negative 3, negative 3, negative 6. You start with x to the fourth, you go 1 less. 3x to the third. Then from there, we're going to go one less each time. So negative 3x squared minus 2x plus 3. 6 is your remainder. Put it as a fraction. That's the same answer we got when we did long division.